G5 Jeff TV. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Please share this video. Support your boy. Support good content at all times. Now, if you hear noise in the background, I'm in my car ripping, running around. But Shawn Porter definitely making his media rounds during the Danny Garcia versus Brandon Rios weekend. Hopped in the ring, talked to Danny Garcia in the ring, crashed the Keith Thurman interview, did a Showtime interview with Keith Thurman, and Shawn Porter definitely is on his WWE shit right now, and I'm perfectly cool with it. But he made a couple comments about Danny Garcia that kind of, got my attention a little bit. And he basically said that Danny Garcia was milking the clock because he doesn't want to get exposed. And he also questioned Danny Garcia's resume. Now, y'all know I keep it a bean on this channel. I keep it 100. Facts are facts. I don't have no real bias or anything like that. I just don't agree with Shawn Porter. I love Shawn Porter. He's one of my favorite fighters. Got a lot of heart. He gets in there and he fights every single time. But as far as this one, I just don't agree with him. If you want to talk resume, you can argue that Danny Garcia has a better overall resume than Shawn Porter. Now, yes, I know Danny Garcia had some time at 140, and Shawn Porter's basically been at 147 his whole career, basically. And I think he might have had a few fights at 154. But just resume-wise, in terms of names, Danny Garcia has more names on his resume. It has a better resume than Shawn Porter, so I find it kind of funny that Shawn Porter is questioning Danny Garcia's resume. And as far as Danny Garcia milking the clock because he doesn't want to get exposed, I don't find that to be true either, and that's for a couple of reasons. Number one, they're all in the welterweight division. 147 got, a couple of killers. Shawn Porter, Danny Garcia, Earl Spence, Keith Thurman. That's the class of 147. And then you have Kell Brook, Amir Khan. You have, a lot of other guys at 147 that's worth mentioning. You know what I'm saying? But there's nowhere to hide at 147. Eventually, those guys is going to have to link up. And Danny Garcia actually has more levels to his game than Shawn Porter. Like, Danny can fight on the inside, he can fight on the outside, he can counterpunch, and he doesn't smother his work. Like, he lets off clean shots. Danny Garcia's weakness is somebody that boxes and has a lot of movement. That's Danny's weakness, because Danny has slow feet. And it's not the fact that Danny can't move, it's the fact that he sits on his shots. But anybody that sits on their shots, the general public's going to say they got slow feet. They say Canelo got slow feet. They say Broner has slow feet. And it's because they sit down on their shots. But Shawn Porter, I like Shawn Porter's jab. I like Shawn Porter's jab. When you actually look at the numbers, he actually ends up out-jabbing a lot of the guys that he goes in the ring against. But he gets criticized as just a straight brawler. And Shawn Porter, I think, has more holes in his game than Danny Garcia does. So I think Shawn Porter would be more likely to be, milking the clock more so than Danny Garcia. But both of these guys are really good fighters. Both of them have really good resumes. Both of these guys are not afraid of anybody. I think this was more so just Shawn Porter just stealing the headlines, for the weekend. And he did a fairly good job of doing that because, previously, Kenny Porter was basically doing all the talking. But it's the same thing with Danny Garcia. Angel Garcia was doing most of the talking, and now Danny Garcia is doing a lot of talking now. So, these guys and their fathers is, the way their fathers talk is starting to trickle down onto the sons, Shawn Porter and Danny Garcia. So I hope these two end up in the ring. I hope they do a round robin. I hope Keith Thurman, fights Shawn Porter again. I hope he fights Danny Garcia again. I hope he fights Earl Spence. I just want to see all these guys in the ring together, and it should be fun. It should really be fun, but I don't think that Shawn Porter was really accurate in terms of Danny Garcia milking the clock because he doesn't want to get exposed or his resume being questioned. That would be up for serious debate, and I really don't agree with what he's saying as far as that. But it's all good. It's all good as long as Shawn Porter jumps into the ring in Dallas and talk to Earl Spence the same way, then, that's great. You know what I'm saying? If he crash a Earl Spence interview like he did Keith Thurman's, that would be great. So let's see what Shawn Porter does going forward. He made a lot of comments about Danny Garcia, but, sometimes in life we worried about other people and what they doing, and you're not worried about what you doing. So I hope Shawn Porter shows that same excitement and that same vigor that he does with Danny Garcia and Keith Thurman towards Earl Spence. So let's see what happens. We got, until June to see what Shawn Porter does, or Kenny Porter, see if he has anything to say specifically about Earl Spence. He said some things on the Boxing Voice, but they always have conversations with the Boxing Voice, so I take it with a grain of salt. But when it comes time for Earl Spence to fight, I would love to see Shawn and Kenny Porter in Texas, and they hop in the ring and holler at Earl Spence just like they did Danny Garcia. It'll only be fair. It'll only be right. You know what I'm saying? But G5 Jeff TV, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Appreciate y'all. Peace.